In this video, we're going to go over the 5th issue in the Jurassic Park Raptor Comics storyline. All 4 previous issue recap and reviews will be in a playlist on the channel if you haven't caught up with the story, so feel free to check out the first few episodes before watching this one. Now, we last left the story with Raphael being killed by the newly freed Velociraptors Betty, Alpha, and Celia. The return of Ian Malcolm and surprisingly Robert Muldoon has made it clear that they are on the hunt to locate and rescue Drs. Grant and Sattler from the Colombian jungle where we last left them. Now we start our story on the hunt in the wilds of Colombia. Pursuing a local jaguar, the 3 raptors snap at the big cat. They found their prey and begin to engage in a fight for survival with it. Now, once the jaguar turns around and decides to fight back, it's promptly swatted away like the inferior beast it is, before being ambushed into a trap set by the 3 dinosaurs. It's good to be free and wild again. The raptors enjoy their kill and eat the jaguar under the dense cover of the jungle. While these animals were never taught hunting skills by their parents, it seems the instincts of these creatures has left them more than capable of taking down modern game. Meanwhile, back in civilization, Alan and Ellie make their way out of the jungle and frantically attempt to explain their situation to the local authority. They explain their kidnapping by Rafael Santos and the reality that dinosaurs are on the loose in the Colombian jungle as they speak. It's taken them 18 hours to trek out of the forest and into town, but unfortunately, the police seem to not have the greatest grasp on English. Their attempts seem tedious and unsuccessful, until they hear a couple of familiar voices. The pair of scientists turn around and thought Ian may have died in the Panamanian hospital, and were under the impression that Muldoon did indeed die. Malcolm gives the breakdown of his search for the doctors with the help of the American military, and Muldoon hilariously says, "I don't know why everyone thought I was dead." He explains that after Ellie ran to the power shed that he sprang the raptor's trap purposefully to get a better shot at one of them, and that both he and the dinosaur ended up surviving their mutual encounters. He says by the time he got back, everyone else had evacuated, and then he himself was evacuated, only to find out that Grant and Sattler actually went back. Malcolm humorously chalks this up to chaos. He then proceeds to go into a deep lecture on the rules of chaos theory, and the raptor's existence in the jungles of Colombia will undoubtedly have deep repercussions for this modern land. He notes that somewhere, way down at the base of all reality, there is some form of unity, and its absolutism requires the basic knowledge that everything has consequences. Currently, the raptors continue their exploration of the new jungle they've taken flight in, and curiously begin to show signs of sickness. Celia is the only raptor presently not affected by this ailment, which causes Betty and Alf to both collapse. The last raptor ponders what enemy could possibly have done this to its kin, before becoming alerted to the presence of others in the jungle watching her. Much to the animal's surprise, local natives spring out of the jungle and begin assaulting Celia with arrows. These primitive weapons fail to be effective against the raptor, however, and the dinosaur snaps back, killing many of the foolish men who attacked her. In the meantime, Grant sneezes similarly to the raptors in the company of Muldoon. The two are sharing a drink at a small bar, and Robert comments on the doctor's cold he's freshly caught. The game warden's experiences in the African outpost seem to have nullified most of the virus's effect on him. Muldoon asks Grant how exactly 6 raptors got off Nublar and wonders if they know who is responsible. Grant reveals to Muldoon that the man's name was George Lawala, a name he instantly recognizes, and explains to be a hunting partner of his back in Africa. He expresses his sadness at the loss of an old friend, which is met with criticism by Alan, who brings up that he and Ellie were kidnapped by the man. But Robert seems to understand that Lawala was just doing a job, and nothing personal was likely to come from his involvement with the raptors. And before leaving the bar, cites Malcolm's theory as idiocy, as nothing affects raptors. Sadly, back in the jungle, the raptor's health continues to deteriorate, with Celia looking after her siblings and keeping an eye on the ever-present vigilance of the natives nearby. She turns back for just a small moment to notice that in her tending of her pack, the natives left dead animals and golden idols near the fallen dinosaurs. She attempts to carry the dead creature back to the others before falling prey to the cold herself and dropping alongside Betty and Alf on the jungle floor. The natives quickly gather around the raptors and send word back to their tribe on this discovery. Back in town, Ellie sneezes herself, giving Malcolm a moment to comment on the ferocity of the cold, with Sattler's acknowledgement that it doesn't seem to have slowed Muldoon down at all. Malcolm expresses his usual superiority in reasoning skills and how his theory is sound, and that the animals have indeed been affected through their interaction with humans despite Muldoon's thinking, and says that he will definitely accompany them on their search, and never turn down an opportunity to be close to Dr. Sattler. Ellie remarks she'd thought she'd made it clear that she's undoubtedly with Grant, to which Ian responds that it's quite clear to him that Grant has clearly won her heart, but this will be the first time they'll have some extended time together, and everything has consequences. Later that night, a ceremony is put on by the natives in celebration of their new dinosaur gods. They begin to worship the animals and nurture them back to health. With the rising of the sun, the natives attempt to communicate with the velociraptors they've been praising, but that doesn't necessarily go as well as they'd planned. This was one weird issue. I really enjoyed the banter between Malcolm and the other characters, especially his speech on Chaos Theory and his later interaction with Dr. Sattler, and thought the Muldoon writing was really fun as well. But this is honestly the weakest issue I think we've come across at this point in time. Natives worshipping the raptors was an image I wasn't the biggest fan of, and it felt rather forced in my personal opinion. Nevertheless, we are now halfway done with this comic series and have only 5 further episodes to go. Hopefully the story will go in some more exciting directions in the future, as I can't wait to see how the Raptors and Muldoon get along in future issues. Now I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video and hope you enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I've deserved it, I would appreciate the like, and hope you consider subscribing so that you can see me again. I'll see you all in the next video, and as always guys, take it easy.